Hi, my name is John. I'm going to be going over topic number 9 from Foothill Technology High School's Precalculus class. First thing I'm going to do is find the distance between 2 points, find the midpoint using 2 points, as well as find the slope of the line. It's pretty basic stuff. You should know most of these by now, but we're going to be going over this in detail, okay? So example number 1, find the distance between -4, 3 and 2, 6. So the first thing we do is, well, what are we looking for? We're looking for the distance. So always write down the question, that's what we're looking for. And the distance formula comes from right over here. Distance equals square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. This distance formula, given x1, y1, x2, y2, if you draw it out, it actually becomes this triangle located right over here. And if you kind of see the intuition, this is your x2 minus x1, and this is your y2 minus y1, and so that's going to become your triangle. This distance formula is the Pythagorean theorem in disguise. So we're going to hide this for now a little bit. I'm going to try to figure out what the distance is. I always like to put x1, y1, x2, y2 on top of my values so that I know which one I'm looking at. And the distance is equal to the square root, always write the formula out before you start, x2 minus x1 quantity squared plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared. Memorize this. It will be on the test. They probably won't give you the formula for it, but you're going to have to know this formula for most students. So that becomes, my pen's running out of ink here, square root of x2, which is 2, minus -4 is plus 4 squared plus 6 minus 3 squared. That's 6 squared, 36, so it becomes the square root of 36 plus 6 minus 3 is 3, squared is 9, 36 plus 9 is 45. Excuse me, that becomes square root of 45. And we know that we can reduce this radical, simplify this radical. That's the same thing as 9 times 5 is 45, so that becomes square root of 9 is 3, radical 5. That's the simplified form, okay? Find the distance between these 2 points as well. I forgot to put a little 2 right there. I believe there was a 2. So it's 1/2, root 3 and -1/2, 2 root 3. Seems to be a little difficult, but it's not that difficult. So that's, we're looking for the distance again. Distance is equal to, always write it down, square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. x1, y1, x2, y2. So that becomes, the distance becomes the square root of x2, -1/2, minus x1, which is 1/2, squared plus y2, 2 radical 3 minus radical 3 squared. -1/2 minus 1/2 is -1 squared. That becomes 1 plus 2 root 3 minus 1 root 3 is root 3, radical 3 squared. 1 plus square root of 3 squared is just going to be 3, because square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. Square root of 9 is 3, but you notice that square root and the square always cancel, it becomes itself. So that becomes the square root of 4, which is 2. Hopefully you got all of that. Find the midpoint of the line segment joining -2, 5 and -3, 6. The midpoint formula, that's what we're looking for, is equal to the average of the x's and average of the y. That's actually a concept. So I drew this out, I googled it up, took a picture of it, and it seems to show a pretty good concept of where it comes from. Notice x1 y1, and this is the average. So that becomes x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. Memorize the formula for the average. It will be on the test. And again, we like to put the numbers in there with the x1, y1, x1, y1, x2, y2. You can't see that it's kind of small. So the midpoint formula becomes x1 plus x2, that's -5 over 2, and 5 plus -6 is -1 over 2. And we don't have to reduce anything, we like to keep it just like that. Example number 4, find the midpoint of the line segment between these two right here. Let's label this x1, y1, x2, y2. The midpoint formula is what we're looking for. The midpoint is what we're looking for. The midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. So we plug it in. x1 is -2 over 5 plus 1 over 3, 1/3 divided by 2, and 3 plus -7 over 2. We're going to have to bust that fraction a little bit, or just a little easier way to do this. Let's do this on the side. -2 over 5 plus 1/3. We're going to have common denominator. Multiply top and bottom by 3. Multiply top and bottom by 5. That's going to be -6 over 15 plus 5 over 15. And that's equal to -1 over 15. That's all divided by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. Dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. That becomes -1 over 30. Lots of mathematical basics, so make sure you get your basics down. 3 plus -7 is -4, divided by 2 is -2. Again, 3 plus -7 is 3 minus 7, that's -4 over 2, and I had to reduce it. Okay. Find the slope of the line that passes through those 2 points. So you got your distance formula, you got your midpoint formula, you also need your slope formula. We call the slope m. And the definition of slope is rise over run. And so the rise is, the formula becomes y2 minus y1, the difference in the y's, over x2 minus x1. y2 is 0. Here's x1, y1, x2, y2. Minus 0 over x2, 1/5, minus -6 over 11. I really don't care about this denominator just as long as it's not 0. So it's not 0, it's something blah blah blah, whatever it is, or 0 over something. 0 minus 0 is 0, that's the numerator, that's the rise. And we know that if the rise is 0, that becomes a slope of 0. Make a note, if the slope is 0, it's a horizontal line. If you want to graph those 2 points, -6, 11, 0, 1/5, 0, and you want to graph that line using those 2 points, you will notice that it will come out to be a horizontal line. The last question I'm going to be doing is find the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points, x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm looking for the slope. So there it is. Slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Box your equations that you have to memorize. So you have to memorize the distance formula, the midpoint formula, and the slope formula. And that becomes y2, which is -10, minus 10 all over x2, negative 3 minus negative 1. Negative 10 minus 10 is negative 20. Negative 3 plus 1 is going to be negative 2. Reduce that, 2 negatives cancel. 20 over 2 is positive 10. So your slope is going to be positive 10 over 1, or just positive 10. Good luck, and that should help you to do part of your homework. Thanks, bye.